Welcome to Savor the Story podcast, where books and snacks are life. That's Vanessa. I'm Nicole. Welcome.
Welcome to Bonus Bites number 9.
Woo woo.
We are in book 2 of the Unmarked series. I think that's what it's called, the Unmarked series. This book is called The Unbound Witch by Miranda Lynn. Also, I think I haven't told you this, or I don't know if you've seen this, but there is a book 3, but it's a novella, like it's a special holiday novella that I was not planning on doing for this. So,
Can I tell you a story?
tell me.
I accidentally bought it.
You did?
Yes, it's on my bookshelf.
Do you want to give it to me? Do you want me
Sure.
to buy it from you? Okay.
You don't have to buy it from me. I think it was like $3. I
Okay.
don't know. But I will just give it to you.
Okay, I was planning on reading it, but not for this because and the only reason I say I'm going to take it from you is because I already know how you're going to feel about this series, and so you're not going to care about keeping it on your shelf.
I know. If there was anybody out there who wanted a mildly used book with an extremely cracked spine and full of sticky notes with my thoughts.
Oh, the sticky notes come with it.
I'm not taking them out.
Okay.
You can have this book and this book.
Maybe
So,
we'll
reach
do a
out
giveaway.
to Savor the Story Pod at gmail.com.
There you go. Yes. Yes. Reach out if you happen to want Nicole's used copy with all of her notes in it.
I will not take the notes out. That is a deal breaker.
All right. Fair. And we will send them to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just jump in.
Okay.
So we're doing it in sections again, like we did for the other one. We're going to give it another go and see how it goes. Hopefully it's a little bit shorter than our 2-hour episode last time. But you know what? If you are looking for a deep dive, listen, if I was looking for a deep dive of an episode of a book that I enjoyed or even hate read, maybe I would love 2 hours because that's a lot of cleaning that I could get done.
Exactly.
So, okay. So for this section, we read chapters 1 through 16. So got us through page 113. And it basically picks up right where book 1 left off. Not really a jump or anything. They ended up on the beach and we kind of start off right there. So I'm, like I told you before, and now listeners, you're going to know, I'm going to do things a little bit different. We're not doing chapter by chapter. We're not doing all the whatever. I wrote down some things. We're going to talk through those things. And then, Nicole, you can offer any of your extra tidbits. Okay?
All right, cool, because I have some.
Okay, great. So the first thing we're going to talk about, because it's the fucking elephant in the room, we're going to skip ahead to the part to where we find out that Gray and Bastian are the same fucking person.
I had such validation. I don't know what it was, but as soon as I read that, I was like, fuck yeah, I knew it. I almost texted you.
You did? I wrote down Nicole's theory was partly right. Because I feel like your theory was that they were two people, but Gray was secretly the king, right?
Yeah.
So I still feel like you get credit and you get points for them being the same fucking person. I had to reread it like 2 or 3 times, and I was like, did I read that right? Like, because my very first thought was we've seen them together, so your theory is out. You're like, fuck you guys. And then like 2 pages later, Kersey is like, we've seen you in the same room, and he explains.
He's like, magic, bitch.
Yeah, right, exactly, basically. He explains that he has a power that allows him to do illusions. So that's why whenever they were in the same room together, Gray was always very like stoic and very just like, I'm looking at everyone. He never really interacted with people when they were in the same room together. I'm so disappointed that we didn't think of that. Like, Why didn't we think he's a fucking shifter? Of course that should have been a theory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So with this revelation, some of the theories that I had early on were wrong because I was like, oh, this love triangle is going fucking hard because Gray and Raven in the beginning, the first fucking 13 chapters, whatever it was before we stopped, or before we got to that part, was like their chemistry was on point, their little banter was on point. He grabbed her face at one point and was like, the fake dating. I wrote down, ooh, fake dating, King is gonna be mad. Because like all of my theories was like, oh, the chemistry is going strong here. I should have known with how strong their chemistry was that it was the fucking King.
Yeah, so not to toot my own horn or anything, but I also said, I don't think the King's really dead.
Well, I said that at the end of the last episode.
Did you? I thought you told me I was wrong, but maybe
you're
okay.
You are selectively remembering because I was actually questioning myself. I will tell you right now because I was hard at the end of book 1. I was like, he's not dead. The power didn't work. Like, he blocked it and he sent them away, like all of that stuff. Okay. And I was like, shit, was I wrong? Especially when her and Gray started getting closer. I was like, was I wrong? I actually looked in the back of the book. Like, I scrolled through the book and I was like, okay, he's alive. Cool. And I kept going.
You went to the end of book 2. You peeked?
I did not like that. I went like this and I was like, where's Bastian? And I saw a note between them and I was like, okay, he's alive. And then I stopped.
I can't believe you did that.
I had to know if I was super wrong because I was so adamant that he was alive that I was like, fuck, am I wrong?
Yeah.
Because
there's no way he died.
Right. No. There was no way. But I feel like I only remember that better than you because I literally just edited the episode like 2 days ago. So
there we go. Yeah.
Yes. So yes, knew he was alive for sure. Did not know that he was Gray.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't exactly call it, but no. Yeah, but like you said, as soon as the banter and the thing, I was like, my brain went to, is this where the love triangle starts?
That's what I was thinking for sure.
And I was like, man, ugh. Okay, fine. We get back and all of a sudden, like, the King is alive! And then, like, now we have a love triangle. Got it.
Yep. That's where my brain was going. It's one of the first things I wrote down. Like, I think I wrote it down. Oh, I wrote it down in chapter 2. I said, ooh, some Raven and Gray tension. Is the triangle back since they think the King is dead? So chapter 2, I was already like in it. So yeah. How do you feel about, I don't know how I feel about them being like, I'm fine with that going forward, that they're the same person. I think it's fun. Like, I actually really enjoy the banter now where they're like, can you just bring Gray back? I'm tired of talking to the King. Like, I like all of that. I don't know how I feel about the storytelling piece of it was like, he's been both of them the whole time, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really have any strong, like, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Though I do wonder, and we haven't got there, but in my mind, I was like, are they going to have sex? Like,
as
are they going to have sex as Gray?
I think so.
Like,
I think, well, Percy even jokes about it, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
Kersey jokes with him about it at the when they're on the ship. She's like, she's only happy that you're both of them because she gets to fuck Gray, and he was like, he just laughed it off, or that she says that she gets to fuck both of you. I think is what she says, and so and he didn't seem mad about it. So. She's got a 2-for-1.
Yeah, I wonder what Gray's secret sex move is. If the King's is the icicle,
right? we'll see what happens with Gray. We'll see. So let's
Can
see.
I ask? I know we jumped into that right away, but like the part where she finds out that he's the same person, and it kind of has that cliffhanger at the end of the chapter where Kersey's out there and she sees him and she's like, "Oh fuck no! I heard his voice and I ran away," or she floated away or whatever. Who did you think that was before you turned the page to the new chapter? Did you have a...
No, I thought it was the king.
Did you? I thought it was Nikos.
Did you?
Yes.
Only because she says something about his voice being like that deep voice or something like that.
Okay.
And that was the only reason I thought that.
I gotcha. Yeah, so I read it and I must have not caught that because I immediately was like, "Oh, is this Nikos?"
It was Nikos?
Yeah, like, is Nikos there? So, let me see if I can find this.
Oh, yeah. So, she says that voice, that awful familiar voice. Oh, no, she doesn't say that he's... I don't know why I thought that it was...
You just automatically knew?
I feel like yes, because maybe it was wishful thinking. Because it makes more sense that he would be there than Nikos, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's who I thought it was.
Like you said, it doesn't make sense that it would have been Nikos, but in my brain I was like, Nikos is back to make trouble. But that would be dumb because there's no magic.
Right,
So,
exactly.
What's little Nikos gonna do?
He's not gonna do shit. So jumping to one of my other ones, though, it's kind of in this same conversation, is she forgives him so fast. I think it's funny that even Kersey calls out, like, you could have lasted longer than 2 hours.
Right. So I have a sticking in here somewhere, and I was like, how long until she forgives him? It was 4 pages.
It was immediate, yes. So
literally 4 pages.
Yep.
I was more pissed that there was the illusion of her being mad for 4 pages. Like, pick a lane.
So can I tell you, I did not have a problem with this because I get so mad in books when like, I think it might fall into the miscommunication trope a little bit and the third act breakup a little bit, to where I'm like, we all know where this is fucking going. Just move on. Like, you're going to forgive him. Just do it. And so when it happened that fast, I was like, thank you. At first I was like, come on, Raven. And then I was like, no, you know what? I approve.
Yeah. I had more sticky notes where I was mad that she was even mad.
Right. Like, why are you upset?
Like, what are you doing? Why did you lie to me? Here's an explanation. We're both adults. Oh, okay, that makes sense. And then she gets really mad and storms away. Like, she takes off running through the woods on 2 legs that are so bad that she needs help being carried in, like, a page later.
Right.
Like, come on.
Yeah. That's how she hurt them so bad, is she was running away.
Apparently.
I feel like as soon as he explained, I think his explanation was easily, like, acceptable in that he's the evil king, right? Everybody fucking hates him. He wants to understand that what you're feeling for me is real. So, okay. Like, I accept.
I wanted to be able to see all of the people interacting without knowing the king was there. So I invented Gray, right?
Right. And everyone just kind of like, because around Gray, we saw that at the All Hallows Eve party, like around Gray, everybody's just like their normal, friendly self, right? So he was able to see everyone's true intentions, and I'm not mad at him for it. So, the other thing I want to talk about is we have some new shifter friends. We have Atlas and Tor, and I love them both.
Yeah, they're the best 2 characters in the whole book.
I love that Atlas calls Kersey Ghosty. I think that's great. I think Tor feels just like a big brother almost.
Yeah,
like
I was gonna say, like, when she said I thought he was gonna be a bear, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. He's like a giant teddy bear.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yep. A big, squishy, lovable bear who turns into an owl, which, okay.
Like was it an owl or was it some kind of like magic owl? Like some kind of like fairy tale magic owl or something. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
I just pictured an owl. She said owl and I was like, yeah, that's right. It's a bird. So,
I hate birds.
I do hate birds, but I love and accept Tor as he is. Okay. So yes, we have our new shifter friends. Also kind of in that vein, does the shifter magic work on the non-magic land because it's just like part of them and it's not really magic?
It was not explained to my liking.
It wasn't explained at all. I don't remember like any explanation for it. It was just, it happened. Like they just shifted and I was like, oh, you can do that here? Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, but if I get hurt, I can't shift back. And I was like, why? I don't understand.
So that I feel like that's a common thing in any kind of like shifting books or magic or whatever, where you can't shift to either way when you're hurt. So I don't know. I guess the question is like, can you, even if you are on a magic land, can you shift whether you're hurt or not? Or is it only because you're in the... I just have questions about how they're even able to shift on the non-magic land. Because I thought that was a magical thing for them. But apparently it's not. Do only the witches have magic and the shifters it's a completely different... It's like a werewolf situation?
Right. I guess that's what I was assuming. It wasn't like magic, it was just part of them.
Okay.
Like going through puberty.
Okay. All right. I accept this and I will allow it. Okay. Another thing I have to tell you or to talk to you about is we now have a reason why she said that she's always like weak within. Because I remember, so in book 1, you had a very big problem with her always being like, I'm so weak or whatever. So we do find out in this section that it's always been super weak for her. Like it did not feel the same as it does now. So I was wondering, do you accept this now? Or are you okay?
No. Because,
why?
I mean, and I think it was just like, because she was on the boat and then like she was like, I'm going to do this anyways or die trying. And I was just like,
no,
whatever.
But early on in chapter 2 is when it happens. Like she's explaining to them that like she did have lesser magic until recently. Like she's always felt like she wasn't powerful and stuff like that.
Maybe I don't remember chapter 2 as well as I should, but like I honestly didn't take that many notes in the first like 3 or 4 chapters because I was just like
jumping in.
Yeah, and I didn't really have any thoughts, and I didn't really have anything where I was like, something is happening that makes me want to read this book again. Or at all.
You mean nothing is happening?
Yes. There is nothing happening in this book that makes me want to read it right now. Is how I was feeling.
Okay, that's fair. Well, now I'm telling you that she explains to us that she never felt like her power has always felt lesser until recently. Like what she's feeling in her power now or since she's been at the trials is much different. So,
is this because of the thing with her getting the death?
It seemed like she said she was saying that just feels more powerful now.
Okay.
So maybe being around the king has awakened her power.
Yeah, maybe I need to go back and read chapter 2.
Yes,
some clarification
chapter 2
on that.
All right, maybe it'll give you some, maybe it won't. We'll see. And then speaking of Raven, she's very sick. And I have a couple theories as to why she's sick.
All right.
What are your thoughts?
Oh,
you want to know mine first?
Yes.
Whichever. I'm fine with telling you whichever. Okay. So Originally, my theory was that her magic was trying to surface in the magic land. So because like now she has this death like curse or whatever she's able to have, like she's all powerful now. And so that was my original theory. But by the end of this section, my theory now is that because the compulsion curse that Nikos put on her was not satisfied, her body is like rebelling against not having magic. So basically she's gonna be like sick or whatever, especially in the non-magic land, until she's able to fulfill the compulsion that was put on her.
So do you think as soon as they pop through the other side of the door?
So that's actually one of my questions for you. I wrote that down, is what do we think is going to happen? Is like the second they get into Magic Land, is the compulsion going to hit and she's going to immediately try to kill him? Two, my other thought about this is if he switches into gray, does the compulsion stop? Like, does the compulsion know that he is the king? So I don't know how I feel. I don't know what's going to happen there.
You've put a lot of thought into this.
Yes.
So I don't know. I haven't really been theorizing about that. I don't have any theories of why.
Okay.
I was just kind of like, I don't know.
You were like, I don't care. Be sick, bro.
Somehow, for some reason, she's sick. And I mean, I don't know. I'm to the point with Raven where I'm just like, whatever, she's special for some reason, and it's gonna be revealed to me in the next 5 chapters probably why she's so special. So I was like, I'm over it.
Okay. I do think we're gonna find out like why she's sick in the next 5 chapters. I think honestly, I don't know which reason. I'm leaning more towards the reason of I think it's the compulsion that Nikos put on her is trying to get out, like it,
right?
Because she didn't fulfill it.
Yeah, see, that makes sense. I just wonder, like, if she does it again, they get back and she does it again. What is the next option?
Right.
Like he already pushed her through a door into no magic land. Like,
right.
Now what?
Right. Well, that's what I'm wondering. Does the compulsion know that Gray is Bastion? So does he just live as Gray now from forever until they can like figure it out? I don't know. So I really do think, because at the end of book 1, I said that I thought the compulsion was cut because she cast the spell. But the fact that he didn't die, I think now, because at the end of book 1, I was like, oh, she cast the spell. So that did what Nikos told her to do. But I think Nikos specifically said until the job is done. So I think that keeps it going, which means I think now I'm taking back my theory from the end of book 1 and now saying the compulsion was not complete because he is still alive.
Yep, I'm going to go with that theory too.
Okay, great.
I just
I think it might be kind of immediate. Like I feel like they're going to have to hold her back, or she's going to have some control over herself in some way. I don't know how I feel about it, but and then some little pieces that we've learned in this section was she survived the harrowing in the beginning of book 1 because Bastion was there, and it's the reason why none of the other harrowing witches have ever lived, because they didn't have all 7.
Yep.
And then also we learned within that, with the harrowing, it's not random, that it's very specific to which witch it's going to target within each family line, which fucking crazy. That Mossbrook witch is a bitch. She's fucking terrible.
Yeah. So knowing that, and Raven knows that, and I'm sidetracking a little bit.
Yes, please.
When they are going back with Eden, her daughter, and she's like, I'm going to take the grimoire back with me. And they're like, what should we do with it? And Raven's like, we should give it to all of the Coven witches. I was like,
why would you fucking do that?
Why would you say that? Why are you being so stupid?
Yeah, that was a stupid fucking... Don't say those words ever again.
Like that
You're not allowed to speak.
Right. So this was the kind of stuff that I was getting upset with her about, because I was just like, you literally just saw what they experienced, what they've done to you. You've been told by multiple people how bad they are. And she's like, well, we'll just get rid of them and get new witches. What?
Like, it's so easy to just be like, we're going to replace all the coven leaders.
Yeah, like, I read that and I was instantly upset with Raven.
Okay, that's fair.
You're a fucking child. Like, go take a nap and let the adults talk. Like,
that's fair. I'll let you have this one. She definitely that was a stupid decision. She should not be allowed to speak in that conversation.
right.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what happens with Eden. Like, how obviously we know that she hates her mother and is not gonna like go there or whatever, but I'm interested to see how she helps out. And she also hasn't used magic for a really long time, so like, what's gonna happen with her there?
Yeah, I wonder if she's gonna come back. And I just had this thought. I wonder if she's gonna come back and she's gonna be like, step into the magic world and be like, oh, I should have received like these 5 gifts in the last 50 years or 40 years or whatever. And she gets like 5 new gifts. That'd be cool.
You think the receiving is just like, it keeps tally? So like what receiving she would have gotten? That's kind of cool, actually. I would like that.
Mm-hmm. That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But I also have a theory.
Okay.
That her mother is going to murder her.
Which mother is going to murder who?
Eden's mother is going to murder her.
Okay. I think
there's going to be a battle, and
Eden's not going to make it.
Eden's going to face off to save Raven or the king, and her mother's going to kill her.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Well, I mean, the king's been working this whole time to keep her protected, right? He's been putting shifters on her on rotation to go protect her and like all that stuff. So I feel like she would definitely do whatever it takes to protect him and or Raven, because we're going to find out something about Raven that's going to make her protectable. You know, like
muy importante.
Muy importante. Yes. So yeah, I think I like that theory. I would say you're probably right that Eden's not going to make it to the end for sure. And then the last thing I have is that we do find out that the thrashings that have been happening are all because of the coven leaders, and that Bastian has been trying to do whatever he can to stop them, and hasn't been able to. Oh, I guess I do have one more thing, and it's not a like big topic, but on page 81, it's when they're in the lake of love. She's basically trying to jump him, and he says, we can't. And I feel like can't is a weird word to use. Like, he didn't say we shouldn't. He didn't say, and I feel like I'm just looking way too into it, but when he said the words, we can't, I was like, why can't we? What are you doing here, Mr. Bastian? I thought all of the lies were out.
Yeah. I don't know. That's weird.
I just wanted to point that out just in case something comes of it later. I want to be like,
aha!
Guess what? Exactly. Because I love being right. And if it's wrong, I'll cut this part out.
All right. Fine.
I'm just kidding. I'll leave it in. But that's all I have for section 1. Tell me anything I missed that you have.
Okay. So let me get started. All right. So I know that we said in this area, in the non-magic section, witches don't have power.
Right.
Fucking Miranda better explain why they have witch hunters who hate witches when you literally cannot be a witch.
Well, okay, so because I don't think that the people know that it's a non-magic land.
If that's the answer, I'm going to be really upset.
I don't think we're going to get an answer.
I don't think so either. And that makes me really upset because what's the whole thing with the fucking Seeker?
I don't know. There's something about him. I feel like he's probably a witch in some way or something.
Right. Like,
yeah. And
he's the evil one who's been working with Eden's mother to like...
Yes. Something's happened to him in the magic land, to him or his family, and now he hates witches, and so now he's in the non-magic land. 1, because he doesn't want to be in the magic land, and 2, because he wants to get rid of anyone who even remotely thinks that they have powers.
Yeah, maybe. Like you said, I don't think we're gonna get a good explanation. We're not gonna get an explanation unless like we said, the Seeker ends up being somebody who's ends up having like an important part. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I feel it might go, because they even went out of their way to introduce that elderly couple who had the daughter who was murdered by the witch hunters, and then we see them later, and they try to rescue them, and I don't remember if they were able to rescue them.
Yeah, so they got him out, and then Kirsty at the end tells them, follow this path. There's a cottage there that you can live in, which is Eden's cottage. Okay. So we will probably see them again. I don't know why we would see them again, but they're probably going to come back in some way.
Yeah. I mean, I have no clue. There have been side tangents that are not explained, so it's not outside the realm of possible that this is just something to take up space in the book.
Right. But he doesn't he feel like a big enough character though, with like his black eyes? Yeah. With his black eyes and stuff, that he's gonna be a part of it.
Yeah, but not the couple. I don't think we'll see I don't think we'll see them again. But I do think we'll see the Seeker again. I think he's probably an evil witch that's actually behind all of this, and he's the one helping Eden's mom. You know,
I could definitely see that. It would have to be somebody who's been hidden though, because Bastian doesn't recognize him, right? Like, because he sees
maybe he's a shifter.
I mean, I guess.
Because shifters can shift in the fucking non-magic land.
Non-magic. Okay. I would accept that he's a shifter. Well, I hope that he's not just left in behind. Like, I hope we get some information about him. About who he is.
Yeah, it was when they were like, oh, yes, we hate witches here. I was like, but why?
Yeah, right. That makes sense.
And then they didn't get any in. Even when she's explaining why her child was murdered, they never really say why. They're just like, oh.
They just suspected her of using witchcraft. Oh, they do say why. They do say why. It's because because of the concoction when her dad got sick.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's why. But, like...
Yeah.
But why are witches, why is witch hating a thing? Minus if we're just calling this like, oh, it's the 1500s.
Right. That's what I took it as.
So here's my other problem with that.
Okay.
If we're calling this like a 1500s knockoff, stop using modern language.
No. I don't think it's a knockoff. Like, I don't think that they're saying that it's like a back in the day time. I think we're present day. I just think that they live like that town is a town that doesn't like witches, or that like is like it was back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. It's flimsy.
I don't agree with you.
Okay, fine. We'll see.
Okay, so at the end of this section, are you at like a half a star?
I don't know.
Are you at no stars?
I didn't put any stars in the back of the book. Oh yeah, I did. I have a half star for the shifters.
Okay, for Atlas and Tor. Okay.
I would even be willing to give them each a half a star.
Okay. Great, we're at 1. I think I'm at 4.
Aw, nice. Yeah. But just Raven's sheer stupidity.
That's fair.
Is ruining this book for me.
All right, so part 2 that we read chapter 17 through 32.
Wait, what?
And did you not read? What did you read to?
I read to chapter 32.
Oh.
I did not read through chapter 32.
Oh, no. Hold on. What page is it on? What page does...
32 starts at 237.
No, finishes. Finishes on 2.
Oh.
Nicole, I sent you the page numbers.
Did you? I feel like you just said read 133 pages, and I got to 32, and I was like, that math's about right.
Look at the screenshot that I sent you. I think it says pages... It should say pages 114 through 247.
Okay. I'm going to look right now.
Okay.
Fact check.
Okay.
Is that...
Does it say it?
No.
It's okay. It's okay. I just won't talk about chapter 32. Also, I read chapter 33.
Oh,
so,
shit.
I just won't talk about that one. And, 32, we're going to have to talk about it. I'm sorry.
Okay, I accept this.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to do kind of the same way I did it for the last part is I'll just give you kind of like what I wrote down as like our big things. We can talk through those, and then we'll talk through any other like big things that you have or little thoughts that you have.
Okay.
Okay. First, we'll start again with the big thing. We're going to start with everything Nikos. Mm-hmm. So 1, he's old as fuck.
Yeah.
2, he's Eden's father.
Yes.
3, he's been making Raven forget things.
Mm-hmm.
And 4, he's dead.
Yes. He gone.
He gone.
Now, I can't remember. I was going to go look in the first book, but didn't she say in the first book that, like, why they might not have had sex? Or did she say that they had sex?
No, I don't think they ever did have sex.
I thought that she said that maybe she just said that they had, like, gotten close or fooled around or something, because I don't...
Yeah. Because I feel like them being... I hope he did not have sex with her. I feel like what I remember is that they were newly, like, trying to be a couple, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like I remember that they hadn't got there yet.
Okay.
That she was still trying to accept him as more than, like, just her friend.
All right.
Right? Like...
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm not willing to go back through the Unmarked Witch and try to figure that out.
Okay.
No.
Maybe I'll try to do it in the next week.
Yes.
I'll figure it out for you.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think that they did, but it definitely is much weirder if they did.
Yes. That was the only thing during when that whole thing and he's having all his revelations. I was like,
yeah.
I was skimming it at that point because in the back of my mind, I'm like,
you needed to know.
I could have swore they had sex. Like, and so the only reason I was reading it is because I was like, well, surely if they had sex, Kirsty would have been like, do you have sex with 100-year-old? You know,
she for sure would have. I feel like Kirsty would not have let that go. Mm-hmm. Like, it would have happened for sure. I don't know how I feel about the whole him being old as fuck thing, and it feels very convenient.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She did a good job keeping it a secret that he was old, in the fact that, like, you had no hint to that he was old and he was Eden's husband or whatever. I don't think I ever... Even though I know Sebastian explained his thought process behind that, even...
You still calling him Sebastian?
What is it, Bastion?
Bastion.
I don't give a fuck, it's Sebastian.
Okay.
I read it as Sebastian now.
All right.
Gray, Bastion,
sure.
the king. I think in my notes I even wrote Sebastian. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I think even during his little, it makes sense for these reasons, I was like, whatever, bro. And I just kept reading, so.
Yeah, I don't know if it made sense. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I feel like it's like I said, I feel like it's convenient. I feel like it's I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He just took a whole bunch of age potion and just made himself fucking 12 when they met.
Yeah.
Like, how did you make yourself 12?
Yeah.
That's a lot of magic.
Right. Yeah, I feel when I was reading it all, I had the same thought you did. I was like, wow, this is a lot of like, I don't know, I don't want to say convenience or laziness or anything like that, but there was just not a better plan, right? You know. So.
Yeah. I don't know. One thing about Nikos is death, though. So in the last part, I can't remember if it was the last part or if it was the last episode, you asked me if I thought who was going to kill Nikos, because we both agreed that Nikos was going to go, and my guess was that Raven, I think my exact guess was Bastian was going to get him to the point of death, and then Raven was actually going to be the one to kill him. And I feel like I was partly right, because Bastian was a fucking crazy person.
Yeah.
And like tortured him. And then I think Raven was like about to kill him. But I think what we learn is that what actually killed him was the curse that the leaders put on him, right?
Right. Yeah. It was almost.
She was like, it was like almost the same time or something. Like if the curse hadn't killed him, Raven was going to kill him.
Correct. Right. Yeah. It almost felt like like a cyanide tablet in history books, right? Like before he could give away too much information, like.
Yep, you're gone. Yep. Okay, so the next thing is the Queen's involvement in Raven's magic. So we find out that the Queen bound her magic to save her from being harrowed, from the harrowing. And the witch linked Bastian and Raven, but we don't know how. Like, I don't know what that link actually is. Like, we don't learn
just
that.
Says link.
And then she also gave her some of her power, which, interesting. And then the first time Raven's power presented itself was after the Queen died, because the Queen died and the bound whatever went away. So I feel like we got a lot of information about Raven's magic in this part. Did that... I'm going to ask you again. How do you feel about her powers now? Do you feel any different about it? Like now that you're getting some answers, like tell me.
I didn't hate this section of the book.
Okay.
I don't actually have that many notes because I just kind of read through it.
You didn't have any hate for it.
I didn't have as much hate. I was also trying to be more open-minded.
Thank you.
But I will say the only reason I bring this up is because I had a note, and I also realized that it doesn't make any sense now that I know what's happened, but in real time, when she was, this might be a later point, but when she gets the visiting from the goddess, and she's...
Yeah, I do. We can talk about that too.
Yeah, she's receiving that blessing, and she's the goddess is basically, she doesn't say it, she's basically cat's got your tongue, you don't have anything to say or ask or whatever, and Raven's just ooh. I was why didn't she ask
about her powers?
About her powers or her unmarkedness or whatever. Why didn't she use that opportunity to literally do anything? And instead,
that would have been a good time.
Literally, she just sat there and was and then the goddess is okay, peace. I don't have time for this.
Right. I feel you're right. I do feel like it was a very big missed opportunity. Why would you not?
It felt wasted.
It did.
Another example in this book where something happens and it could be big, and she uses it for nothing.
Yep.
She's oh, I'm delivering a warning. And I was
I wrote it down if you want it. So what she says is, so first she tells her, even if your lover wishes to protect you, he cannot. So my question to that is like right now or like forever? Then she also says, a time will come when you must make a decision that will impact the world. And then she says, do not. She says, do not be afraid to sacrifice what others would not. So those are the 3 things that she says to her, basically, as far as like a warning, whatever. So I don't know. She just kind of took it and was like, you don't have any questions for me about like what the decision is, at least, that I'm going to have to make to save the world? Like,
right. She literally just stands there and she's just like, okay, like, I don't even think she like says anything because she just.
I don't really think she does either.
Just stands there tongue-tied.
What do you think about the, going back to, sorry. I was going to go back to the Queen's, like.
Sorry. So,
shit.
Back to that.
Yeah.
Like, one, that was a missed opportunity to ask it. Finding out about the Queen stuff, it was like, okay, I mean.
What do you think the link is? So, remember, one of my theories was that they were fated. And I don't know if.
That down.
You did? I don't know if this means, like, are they fated in some other way? Like, because she linked them in some way, is like their deaths connected to each other? Is their magic connected to each other somehow? Because another thing that I said at the end of the last part was, and I only know this because I edited it today. I did not remember that I said this, but that I asked, is her magic coming awake because of her proximity to him? Because remember, she says like she started feeling more powerful when she got to the trials and stuff like that. So now I'm starting to think like, is that even more true?
Yeah. I tried to think of it in like how if I was like the mother and I'm gonna link a witch to my son, I'm not gonna do it in such a way where like if one of you dies, the other one dies. Like that doesn't make any sense, right? Like
right.
why would
you do that?
Why would you do that? It's cursing your child, right? So I don't know. Maybe they can like share abilities or something like that, or
that would be a good one.
Yeah,
like whatever, maybe that's why her marks don't show up, because they're actually all on him. Maybe they can both do everything that he's marked with.
Maybe.
Oh, that's a good one, Nicole.
Yeah.
I am wondering too if like there's something to the fact that she gave her some of her own power. So like, what does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because like you said, she doesn't ever say it. Like she just said, oh, she gave her some of the power, but she doesn't say what power, which was one of my complaints in the first section in the first book, is nothing is ever explained. It's all a secret.
Right. I do think this part of it, though, is because the Queen never told her mom exactly what she did, right? So it's like it's a blind spot for everybody at this point.
And you did have a half-right theory.
What did I?
Because you said that the reason her parents never said anything to her is because they were bound. You just had who they were bound by as Nikos instead of the Queen.
Right.
Which, how would you have guessed that, right?
Right. No, I never would have guessed that she went and saw the Queen for anything. Yeah. And did she bind? She basically just didn't give them the information, right? So they just didn't have the information to share.
Right. So she didn't tell her what she did, but she also, I think, kept her from being able to tell her husband that she went there.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, but even if that's the case, they said that as soon as she died, that binding went away.
Should have, yep.
Or lessened or something. Like, you should have had that conversation.
Especially when you started noticing that Raven's power came in. It should have been like, oh shit, we probably should talk about this.
Yeah. If you know that it has, like, especially, like, your kid's gonna die, like, you know, like, stuff like that,
well, that's the whole reason she took her, right?
Go talk to somebody, like, right? Yes. Like, come on.
Yes. All right, so then we get speaking of the harrowing and the fact that Raven is like the whole reason why she took her to the queen is because she's the 13th witch of the 13th family. So we get more information about the harrowing in this one, about it being the 13th witch and all that. We get the information that Nim is the Nim, is that what you call her? Mm-hmm. That she's the next one in her family line or whatever, whichever one is going to be next for harrowing. And along with the harrowing, we also the final fire witch gets harrowed. Mm-hmm. And the entire fire coven gains a third of power. Like,
okay.
What?
Like that math doesn't make sense to me, but okay.
Yeah, I was like, what does a third more power mean? I don't know. But basically everybody has more power. So, one thing about that though, we both guessed that maybe Raven was a fire witch and she was not affected. So I don't think that means she's a fire witch.
Right.
Or I think that means that she's not.
Right.
Which,
that makes sense.
Unfortunate. There goes one of our theories. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is Bastion versus Gray. I feel like we got some Bastion versus Gray in this, and I thought all of it was great. We get in one of the notes that he sends her, he says Bastion more handsome than Gray. Fire, whatever his name is.
Right.
Atlas says that Bastion is more attractive because handsome recognizes handsome, which I thought was adorable. I really think it's cute. All of the like where, and he feels like he's okay with it, with like the
right, either or. Like, he's like, whatever, I'm still me.
Exactly. I feel like that's kind of what it is to him, everybody's just like, yep, or to him, he's like, yeah, it's just me, whatever. If you like one or the other, it's the same for him. It's the same. Right. So, I felt like all of that was adorable.
Yeah.
And then, in the Bastion in Gray, this is the chapter that you skipped.
Which I'll probably continue to skip.
No, you have to read it.
Do I?
We get Raven and Gray sex.
This whole section was a lot of sex.
Was sexy. So I did write down in one part where, like, when right after the goddess left and they were still in that bubble, I was like, right now is the sex time? Like, what are you doing?
I know. Like,
so even if your friends, even if your friends can't see you, you can still see them, right? Could they see them while they're just like fucking around?
So. I don't think so.
Oh, you think it was a two-way situation?
I thought it like a two-way mirror. I thought it was the smoke was up too.
Okay. So you feel like Bastion still had everything closed off,
right?
And
that's okay. That's how I took it. But maybe that was the prude in me. It was like they're not having sex on a one-way mirror. Like,
I don't know. I feel like that was so. I wrote down like now is the time you need to do this.
Well, earlier we were talking about how he wouldn't have sex with her in a room, in a bed, right? Because we can't do this now. It's not the time. And you were even like, oh no, something bad's gonna happen because
like, they were in the river of love or whatever they were in, and he was like, we can't.
Right. What? Yeah, they were alone in a river, and then I think like they also had like a mini sex scene in like a bedroom.
Yep. And there was also another one in the back room, like in the little like I don't know, storage room or whatever.
And he's like, we can't do this. We cannot. And you were convinced that meant something. Like his penis would explode or
exactly.
Kill everybody. Like, but, yes. Yeah. And then like when they start, she's like, I'm gonna do it. We're gonna have sex right now. And I was like, what?
In the middle of the room. Just like Well, and then even the smoke comes down and Kirsty's like, I know sex hair when I see it. I'm like, you fucking what?
Yeah. And everybody's just like, all right. They just roll with it. They're like, all right, whatever. I was like, when I was reading that scene, I go, because, reading in like real life is not the same timeline. So like, I was like, how long are they in this bubble? Everybody is standing outside this bubble like, fuck, where are my friends? Are they dead? Are they alive?
Right.
Panic.
Well, because Eden was like freaking out, right? Because she saw the bright light. She thought something was happening to Bash. Like she was like, get out of here. And like, so then she leaves the bubble and tells everybody, like, I think they're dying.
And then they come back and everybody's just like, oh, you were having sex? If I was Eden, I'd be pissed. Like, you could have just said you wanted to have sex. You didn't have to make it sound like you guys were going to fucking explode. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, this section has really been fucking wild with the sexy times at all locations, all times. It does not matter.
Well, now I think they just have a kink, and it's we can't have normal sex. So it's not what it is Bastion or Gray or whatever. He's like, I can't get it up if we're in a bed, a fluffy bed. I can't get it up if we're in like a cupboard, like he has to have the weird mirrors. He has to have the smoke. He has to have icicles. Whatever happens in chapter 32 that I didn't read. Like,
I don't remember there being anything like super crazy with their sex scene in that. It just seems like Gray was
minus he was Gray.
Right. In that scene though, she does like, I think it starts as Gray, he switches to Bash at one point and then asks her like, who do you want me to be? And she says, after some thought, it's not like immediate. She's not like, oh my God, great. After some thought, she's like, you know what? I think I would like to try Gray. And so he's like, cool. And he changes and then they go and do their thing. So
do they have the same penis?
I don't know. Yes. My guess is going to be yes, but I don't know.
Penis change. Have to write
Maybe
the
we'll
author.
find out. Yes. Tell me all the ins and outs of what you think happens when he changes into Gray. Yes, I did like that part. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to tell you or talk to you about is the last big thing I'm going to talk to you about is the grimoires and Raven still being sick. So, we still don't know what's going on with Raven's headaches and stuff like that. Like all of the theories that we had basically led to nothing. And the grimoires are now speaking to her. So that's
okay.
Is
that 32? So I won't lie.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I won't lie. I think it was, I don't know if it was 30 or 31, but there is also the Kersey Nim sex scene, and I think I got to that point.
That.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, I just want to know what happens, and I'm happy for Kersey that she's with her, and
me too.
Like I read it, but I was just kind of like quick flipping, just like, all right, they're still having sex. So
yep, I kind of did the same thing with I did the same thing for sure with Kersey and Nim. Only I think it was because like it followed another, I think, a sex scene with Bash and Raven, and then we went straight into that with Nim and Kersey, and then right after that we get I guess we get sex scene, we get murder, and then we get sex scene with Kersey and Nim, but then we immediately go into Gray and Raven, and I was like, everybody's just having sex all over the place? Like, yeah. So, I don't know.
So I will also say that because I'm pretty sure I didn't realize there was the sex scene before that one either, because once I got to the sex scenes, I was like, okay.
Yeah,
and it's not that I don't enjoy a good old-fashioned sex scene.
Right.
But my bad. I waited until yesterday to read this book. So it was like 8:30 and I got to the sex scene, the first sex scene, and I was like, I don't have time to do this. And so then I
don't care about this.
I read a little bit, and then there was another sex scene, and I was like, I don't have time to fucking do this. And then I got to chapter 32, and I was like, I think I stop here. And I think I even read like one more page, and I was like, I don't need this. Like, I'm gonna go to bed. I have to go to work tomorrow.
Okay, that's fair.
So,
all right. Well, yes, the little piece. I'll just say, 32. There's a little piece in there where it seems the grimoires are like talking to Raven. She can feel them.
Like saying words?
No, just like vibes. Like she can feel where.
Help me, Raven. Help me.
No. She can feel where they are. Like they're talking to her in that kind of way. Like their magic is calling to her. And so now we find out at the end of that chapter that she knows where all the grimoires are. Because she can, like, something opened for her and she can now feel all of them.
After they had sex?
I don't think it was sex related. I honestly think what happened is she came into contact with another grimoire, and I think now that she's in contact with more and more, I think it's starting to, like, the magic is like connecting to her.
She's the only one that can combine them.
It's probably going to be something like that for sure. All right. I only have one complaint that I want to tell you about.
Okay.
If Kersey calls Nim her golden witch one more fucking time, I might cut Kersey. She said her golden witch like 37 times.
Yeah.
And that was really annoying. Oh, I have one. I have two more things to tell you. I'm sorry. Right. My second thing is Bash has become too perfect and too supportive. Like, there's nothing morally gray about him anymore. Yeah. Like, he's literally just, like, the most supportive.
A teddy bear. I will rip anybody's arms off for you. Like.
Yep. And he's like, I just don't think he's not really morally gray anymore. I think he's just moral. And then the last one, I want Eden's cleaning magic.
Yes. That was awesome.
Right now.
Yes.
That's all. Do you have...
I'm pretty sure I voiced most of my complaints.
As we were talking through other things.
I just... I did have one thought. When they're trying to keep Nim from being, like, harrowed or whatever, and they're, like, going through all this work and putting her in this, like, going to all these people, and they have to, like, pledge, like, to keep her alive, and they die or whatever. I was like, why don't they just send her to those old people in the Unmagic land?
Yeah, just send her there until you figure shit out.
Right, like, just... We've already established that Bastion can open a door, like, just fucking just walk straight through the door. They know you're a fucking witch. They are obviously fine with witches because their daughter.
Right, exactly.
Why
that would have been the...
Yeah. Why are more people dying?
Do you think it had anything to do with the fact that she's got the familiars with her?
Maybe, but she could have taken them with them.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I just felt like that whole thing of them doing all of this work and people dying and, like, all that stuff just for them to just be like, all right, it's done. Like, they broke in, they killed these people. Now just come out and you're just with us now.
Right. And let's go have sex.
Right. Right. So she's just out now. Like, after all of that work, now you're just out.
Well, and that's the other thing that kind of irritated me a little is they made such a big deal about that other girl getting harrowed. Well, you just had a bunch of fire witches die and nobody felt that.
Right.
Like, there was no repercussions to more witches dying. Like, I thought you had to put your fucking blood in the fucking book for that to happen or something. So I don't know. I didn't really have a lot of complaints per se. It was just like, I guess more just a continuation of the same complaints.
The same.
I just a lot of inconsistencies and some stuff that I read, and I'm like,
That's fair.
Does that make sense? But, and just a lot of stuff that I feel is just extra or not needed.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm still enjoying it. I don't know how your theories are or what your thoughts are. Can I say too though, talk about theories just a little bit? Mm-hmm. One, there was a theory that you got wrong that I'm actually really sad about.
Ugh.
Was that Eden did not get like 30 years worth of receivings.
Yeah.
And they even talked about it. Like, I think they like mentioned it or whatever. Like, she didn't get any receivings when she came into the Magic Land, which when they brought that up and said that, I was like, damn it, I wanted Nicole to be right on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the other one is that jumping into the Magic Land literally did nothing to what's her name, Raven having that compulsion to kill what's his name. Like, they were so concerned with that happening. Because they were so concerned with it, I started having all these crazy theories about it, and then they jump in and literally nothing happens.
I know, I wrote that down.
You did?
Yeah.
And now Nikos is dead, so the compulsion has to be gone, right?
Right. If it was there, it's definitely gone now. But yeah. I had a sticky note, and I did say something along the lines of, I'm not sure why they made such a huge deal about keeping that a secret from Raven.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
when it led to nothing.
When she like literally got up and she was like, okay, let's get to work.
Yeah, she's like, why is everybody being weird? Why are you looking at me weird?
Yeah, it just felt like a way to build suspense, maybe.
Yeah. I wonder now, the only thing I can think of is, unless they actually tell us what happened later, the only thing I can think of is that my original theory was right, and as soon as she cast the magic, it broke the compulsion, whether it killed him or not, as soon as she cast it. So that's my new, I'm going back to my original theory, erasing my last one.
Yeah.
And maybe maybe we'll find out why.
Yeah.
Maybe it has something to do with their connection too. Unknown.
Maybe she can't kill him.
Anyway. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I'm still ending off this section at a 4. It hasn't gone down for me yet.
What did I say last time?
You were at a 1, and it's only because you gave a half star to Atlas and a half star to Tor.
Well, they could still have their half stars.
Okay.
Eden can have
no more
a half
stars
star.
Have been given.
Eden can have
for
one.
Her cleaning magic.
She can have a whole star for her cleaning magic.
Okay, great.
And then
2 stars. You're at 2.
I'm at 2. I don't want to give too many. I don't want to give too many stars.
I know.
I have to save some stars for later, or else I'm going to end up with a 5-star book that I don't want.
This book was 8 stars. Okay, well, okay, that's it for this section. Okay, so jumping into the part 3, we did chapter 33 through 48. So I'm going to give you some of the like big things, and then we're going to maybe have some theories for the finale of this book. But okay, so the first big thing is everything with the grimoires. So, one, they're speaking to her like for reals. Mm-hmm. The grimoires were born of a deadly curse until broken 7 times. The grimoires hate the magic that was used to like break them or whatever. Raven is bonded to the grimoires because they were on the book pedestal when the queen split her magic, which I have questions about. Mm-hmm. But basically this part was very like grimoire heavy, I think. Mm-hmm. So, okay, first things first. I guess. Why did Raven end up with part of the grimoire magic just because the queen gave her magic on the book's pedestal?
I have no clue. Absolutely no clue.
Literally have no idea how she is connected to these fucking grimoires.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because as I was reading it, I was like, is this not making sense because I'm speed reading?
Right.
So I stopped.
Okay.
Went back and tried to reread it. And I was like, whatever. I still don't understand.
No, I'm so lost. I'm so lost. I don't understand where the connection to the grimoires is coming from. Mm-hmm. I don't understand. And how all of a sudden did they just start talking? Like, how did they start talking to her?
I don't know. But yeah, so like one of my questions, and maybe you can answer it, is
okay.
The pedestal that was like, did all the grimoires, were they all in the same room like they are now back when the queen was there, or did he start collecting them after the queen died? Like, were they all in that special room?
No, it sounds like he started collecting them later, like once he became king.
Okay. All right, that makes more sense, because I was like, why did the palace not explode?
Right.
But I mean, yeah, because there was like that whole thing with she did the magic that like made everything black and dead.
Right.
So that's why I was like, did she have at least two? The timeline was kind of weird to me. Like,
yeah,
I guess if
we know
left, I don't know.
We know for sure that he didn't steal the moon covens until Raven was like 10, 11, 12 or something like that. That's right. True. So we know that he was already like in power or whatever, or she was at least a little bit older when he started taking them. So yeah, I don't think that she had all of them there at the time of her saving or like splitting the magic. So
yeah, I was trying to think like, well, maybe because they were there, that's how she absorbed it. But like, I mean, did like the queen lay the baby on top of a book on top of the grimoire and was like, stab?
It's just, so it's the energy from it was the pedestal where they were split into 7, right? So the only thing I can think of is like that area holds the energy from that magic, like, or something.
Nuclear fallout.
Yeah, well it's also like big in like the paranormal world, like that that certain spaces hold certain energy, just like stuff like that. So like that's the only thing I can think of, because how else is she getting power or getting a connection to the grimoires unless the queen had some sort of connection to the grimoires in some way, to where when she split her magic and gave it to Raven, that she took in that. But like, wouldn't she have felt them sooner?
I don't know. Maybe the grimoires are why she's so sickly.
That's my guess, is that like, well, okay, so there's another thing, right? We don't, she's now said that she's dying, and Eden knows that she's dying. But it's not clear why. Like, are the grimoires sucking magic from her? Like, it's literally not. There's so much that needs to be covered in this last quarter of the book, because I have no idea. Everything with the grimoires to me is confusing as fuck.
Yeah, I didn't hate this section, but I was kind of disappointed, because whereas they spend the whole quarter of the book doing side quests to find these grimoires, she could have been explaining, she as in, Miranda could have been explaining a little bit more historical stuff, and, and I just, once again, I felt like there was wasted opportunity.
Agreed. In this section, 100% agree that like there's so much time that you could have been giving me more history. Honestly, I'll tell you. So my next big thing that I was going to talk about was all things Kersey, and I'll start with saying I think Kersey's chapters are fucking pointless and useless, and you could have given me the same information that you've given me in Kersey's point of view in Raven's point of view, and we probably could have got more historical information.
Mm-hmm.
The little bits of historical information that we're getting from Kersey's POV is fucking bullshit. Like it's nothing. So
yeah,
all we learned from Kersey's POV is that she's a wish, not a wraith, which, okay, what the fuck is that? She cannot leave this existence. She cannot be a witch, and that Nim killed her. That's what we learned. So one Kersey chapter was helpful out of all of the other Kersey chapters. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, now that I've read more of it, I understand, but I'd say, like, I know I don't have that many purple sticky notes, but most of my purple sticky notes are in Kersey's chapters. Like, why are we doing this again? Like, why does everybody need to die? So that way, like,
right.
You know, like, because she's trying to stop the harrowing.
Mm-hmm.
So that way Nim doesn't die.
Right.
And I was like, how is this helping overall?
Right.
Like, I understand you don't want your girlfriend to die, but, like,
right.
Help with the grimoires.
Right, exactly. Help with the grimoires, figure that part out. I feel like all of this could have been done under Raven's POV. Like, splitting it into Kersey's POV just made this book longer and less helpful than it could have been. And I feel like, yeah, Raven could have found out all the stuff about the harrowing and stuff. Like, I understand they want to find out the harrowing because they're trying to save all the rest of these people from dying. I
maintain they all could have gone and lived with that old couple in the unmagic world. And
all the people who would be harrowed?
Yes, and everybody would be fine.
Yeah, I just feel like, that's probably true.
I mean, it makes as much sense as anything else in this book.
Very true. I feel like it's almost like they're so okay. My thought is like not coming to me fully because I'm all over the place with how I feel about the harrowing part of it. Because like I guess I understand that they're trying to stop the harrowing because they're trying to stop the leaders from gaining more power, right? Because after every harrowing, they're gonna gain more and more power. But like, isn't that the same thing you're doing with trying to stop them from having the grimoires? So like, focus on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like don't let them have power from that, and then we can worry about, or vice versa, like focus on one of the things and then I don't know.
Instead they keep splitting up.
Yeah, and clearly that's not helping because every time you always have to end up back together because you have to save one of you.
Right, like every single time they all split up, and then like half the people almost die.
Right.
And Bash has to come in and fucking fly them all, use his magic doors and take them all back to safety to Eden to fix up. And I'm like, man.
Yeah. Yeah, the first time they split up, like, Tor almost dies. The second time they split up, Atlas almost gets taken by the fucking crocodile. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
Or whatever happens first. Yeah. But like everything, every time they split up, somebody almost dies, and then they all have to come back together and save each other. It's like, why don't you just go into these quests together?
Right, and then 2 pages later, they're magically fine again. Like,
right, yeah.
Oh my god, we almost lost Tor, and then like a half a page later, he's sitting up and he's fine. I was like,
and he's like, I'm ready to go.
They're like, you should stay and rest. He's like, no, I'm fine. No. And they're like, okay, you know what? You're probably right.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
what? Yeah, Tor just went through like 72 things of magic on himself, like trying to whatever, and then he's just like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah, I was not a fan of this section. It just felt side quest and uselessness and people almost dying for like shock value, and I don't feel like I'm any closer to understanding what the fuck is going on than I was 100 pages ago.
I agree. So something about the harrowing that we were just talking about, and it kind of relates to all of it, right? So the harrowing, the magic, Raven still dying and being connected to the grimoires and stuff like that. So we learned that the only way to stop the harrowing from continuing is if all 7 who cast the original curse are dead.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a comment, that old wraith lady or whatever, she says there were 6.5 of them. She says, like, it might have been in that last chapter.
Yeah.
I don't
know. No, I remember what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay. So she says, well, yeah, really, I think it's more like 6.5, but yeah, 7. Cool. Whatever. So I'm leading into a theory here.
Okay.
I'm thinking when she says half, she's counting the queen, because I think the queen is the one who did it for the fire coven as half, because she shared half of her magic with Raven, which my theory now is that Raven's magic being half the queen's means that she is now the one who has to die as part of the fire coven to complete the, like, stopping of the harrowing.
I gotcha. That's
sense.
That's
my theory.
Just pop her, just do the death spell on yourself, pop her into the fucking unmagic world, and everything will be fine. I don't know.
Right. They're gonna find a way to make it not happen, right? They're gonna find a way to either to where she can die and come back, or like something like that. But that's my running theory now, is that she is the representative now of the fire coven doing the harrowing curse, because she took half of the queen's magic.
That makes sense.
So I don't think that has anything to do with the reason why she's sick and that she's dying. I think that is solely to do with the grimoires. But still, there's so many things going on with her that what? Yeah. And again, we're also lying. Like, she doesn't want Bash to know that she's dying.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he could help you.
Yeah. I mean, what is that getting you?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he might leave me behind. Right. You're an adult. Like,
right.
I don't know what to tell you.
So the only thing that she said that mildly made sense to me was that she didn't want him to mourn her while she was still there. I don't think those were her exact words, but essentially like I don't want you to be sad while I'm still here. Like, I get that part of it, but also, like, if there's any way out of this, he could probably help you. He's pretty fucking magical.
Yeah, he has a lot of magic. And then, I mean, not to get into, like, but if and maybe not, this is probably, like, one of those weird questions that nobody wants to have a talk about, that, like, if you knew, would you rather know that your loved one is going to die, or would you rather be completely surprised?
Right.
Like, I don't know.
I feel like I'd want to know. I'd want to know that, like, we can fight through this together and figure it out.
Right. Well, and then on top of that, like, if I know that something is going to happen, like, 1, I can try and help you prevent it, 2, but 2, I would be more aware of the time spent together. Mm-hmm. Instead of just
1,000%.
Like, like, oh, I'm not saying he doesn't value her or whatever, but, like, I don't know. I know it's a silly thing to get caught up on, but it was just
No, it makes sense. Like,
I would rather know.
Yeah, and I don't think it's fair that she's lying to him about it. Haven't they already promised each other that they were going to be honest?
Yes.
I feel like they already had this conversation.
And it was her. It was her that made the big deal about it. Like, I have to know, you have to tell me everything. Yeah. But I don't have to tell you anything.
No.
Okay, whatever.
No. And then the only last thing I have is the, like, revelation that Nim is the one who killed Kersey. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know I said that earlier, but I feel like we didn't find out. I don't think we found out if it was like a under the influence situation. Like, was she like bound? We don't know any information.
Right.
What we know of her so far, I can't see her being like a backstabber or whatever, but
right. Yeah, like,
but we don't know.
Right. They also put a lot of emphasis on how long they've known each other.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, like childhood.
yeah, so while I could see it being like, no, she didn't do anything, I also am like, is this like a way to put me off like the trail? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you keep emphasizing how long you guys have known each other, and I've loved you since we were 7, you know, like, is this suspicious?
Yeah. I feel like it could be, right? It could be like a situation where they're like childhood loves and then ah ha ha.
Yeah.
But I mean, she already did that with Nikos, so
Right.
it would
Yeah, it would be
I hope
weird.
it's not with Nim too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, they were both in on it, you know, like...
Yeah. But okay, so at this point, though, with Nikos dead, like, Nim has the capability of sharing any information that she potentially was bound to not share previously, right? So,
Yeah,
if
unless
there
somebody
was
else... Yeah, unless
Right.
somebody else has put or compelled her. Maybe
Right.
Nikos compelled her to do it before,
Yeah.
you know, so...
Yeah, I'm I don't know. I will be honest with you and tell you this section took my rating down to a 3.
Yes.
So I'm at a 3 now because this section felt like it was long. It was like almost 100 pages that we read in this section, and I got a whole lot of fucking questions that have to now be answered in the last like 100 pages.
Yes.
And it was
Oh, go ahead. No, keep going.
No.
Because
you have more notes.
Nope, I have my closing thoughts.
Oh, no.
So give your closing thoughts.
No, that's all. Just like I just feel like we have a shit ton to learn in the last little bit. I feel like this section was like a lot of nothing and a lot of just like throwing shit at you.
Right. Yes.
So if you weren't getting shit thrown at you, you were getting nothing. You were just getting bullshit words that were like, why am I here?
I agree.
What was your...
My last closing comment is a quote from Bash,
Okay.
from Bastian.
Okay.
Bastian rubbed his hand down his face. Does this just never end? And I wrote, same, Bash, same.
Never have you felt more connected.
Yeah, so as soon as he said that, I was like, yes.
Okay.
Same vibes. we're throwing.
All right.
I'm stepping in what you're throwing down. I got you.
Do you have any final theories for the end of the book? They're all gonna die.
Everybody dies, but it's then somehow brought back. I don't know. I have no theories. I didn't really put a lot. I mean, obviously, like I told you, I read through this pretty quick last night.
Yeah.
But I didn't really put a lot of thought into it either, because it's just this section. There was just nothing to me.
Nothing.
There was nothing to help me make more theories.
Right.
So.
Yeah, the only thing this section gave me was the theory about her having to be like the surrogate fire coven person for the harrowing cast.
Yes.
That's the only thing that this section really gave me. Other than that, I have more questions than I did before this section. So great. All right, well, next week we will close out this episode or this book and see what the fuck we learn. All right. Are you ready to get into this fucking part 4?
Yes.
Should I start at the end? Should I start at the end?
You're gonna break your own rule and read the last page first?
Yes, now that we all collectively know how this fucking book ends. Let's go to the end, I guess. Where everyone is alive and they're all opposite. Like, what?
Okay.
They're all just fucking opposite?
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure if I read it correctly, but the way I took it is it like, I know this is not exact, but the books, the grimoires took all the magic in the world and then just evenly distributed it out to everybody. Except for Raven.
Well, okay, so Raven is gone. I mean, not gone, but like, yeah, all her magic is gone. But Nim and Kersey came back. Neither of them have magic. It sounds like all of the witches are now shifters and all the shifters are now witches. That's what I took from it.
Okay. All right. So I guess what is the king then? Because he has his wings, but he's not gray anymore.
Yes, I think he lost his shifter, but he kept his witch.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I took from it. And but then he gave her something that she can, like, a necklace that gives her magic, like.
So that was a question that I had, because yes, at the end he gives her a ring. And she's like, how did you do this? And he's like, oh, inside of this tiny glass ball.
Yeah.
There is the final page from the Book of Omnia.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck is the Book of Omnia?
So the Book of Omnia is what the book was called when it was one before they split it.
Oh.
So was a page ripped out before it was split apart into 7? Like, where did this page come from?
How did he get it?
How did he get it, and how does it provide her magic?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so confused. I honestly hate the fact that we no longer have Tor and Atlas as shifters. Like, now they're just witches, which fine, okay, whatever, but like, no. I hate the fact that Bash is only Bash now and there's no Gray. Mm-hmm. I do like that Nim and Kersey both shift into their familiars. I think that's cute. That's like a cute spin or whatever, that they got to keep their familiars in a way, in some sort of way, you know? Mm-hmm. So, like, okay, that part is cute, but I still find it weird. Like, all of these witches who had powers before, many of them hated shifters.
Right.
Are now shifters.
Yeah, I don't understand.
No.
Like, the reason that it all flip-flopped like that. Like,
I don't either.
She's just like, this is the way it is. And
Yeah.
I was like, but why? Like,
yeah, but why?
Yeah.
I seriously don't understand. So when we finished part 3, we had so many questions about the grimoires. I think all of those questions still stand. I still literally don't understand anything to do with the grimoires, why she was connected to them. Like, there was no explanation as to why she had the connection she had. Like, at no point was it explained, like, how the queen using the pedestal to, like, all of our theories, or specifically mine, because I had a lot of theories about it, are, like, completely out of the water because nothing was ever explained. Mm-hmm. It was just like, oh, she's connected to them. The books are dying, so she's dying. Like, what?
Right. Yeah, I feel like, and I know I've said this before, but so much time was wasted in the first book and the first 3/4 of this book doing unnecessary shit that could have been used.
Yes. Or like all the side quests.
Yeah, like explain the magic better.
Yes.
Instead of looking for all 8 grimoires for fucking a whole, like, 3/4 of a book, only for it to not fucking matter.
Right.
Like,
and also looking for the how to stop the harrowing, only to just be like, and they gave all these little, like, clues, like when she said it was like 6.5 witches or whatever. So, which is why I came up with the theory that I thought she was going to be half of the queen. It was like, nope. As soon as Endora died, it was like, oh, that was the last one. The end.
Yeah.
And they never talk about the harrowing again. Yeah. So it was like the 2 big things that were talked about all the time, the grimoires and the harrowing, that they went on to all these little side quests for. We get, like, no answers, and then everything's just better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it was a waste, like a waste of time, a waste of book, right?
Yes.
And then to your point, some of the stuff that she hinted at, like, if you want to call them red herrings,
right? They led nowhere.
To nothing, and I think she actually went the wrong direction.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Well, in this section, I feel like took us all over the place. Like, it was trying to send us first, somebody died or, like, was almost dead or something. And, like, Snoop, her, whatever. They were like, oh, no, he died. And then, like, 3 pages later, he was back. And then, like, something happened with, Eden. And they were like, oh, no, just kidding. Like, she's still here. It was, like, it was, like, look over here, look over there, look over there. Dude, look at this. And then it was like, oh, everything's fine. Everyone's back. Everything's okay.
Yeah. And then way to throw at the end of the book, oh, Nim is actually the one that killed you.
Right.
Why would you put that in the last 100 pages?
So, right. And then I feel like Kersey was so mad about it. Like, that should have been, you should have been mad about it for like 20 pages.
Right.
She was mad until the very end. And that felt weird to me because she forgave Raven like super fast with like all the stuff, whatever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That was I don't know.
Well, it was just, I mean, to your point in the last section, most of it, I felt like Kersey's stuff was not value add.
No.
Like,
I don't know. Oh, and then we kept getting like thrown with, we find out that Kersey is probably here because Nim also made a wish. So like, if she just fulfilled that wish, then she'd probably go back. But I feel like there was so much back and forth with that. Again, back to Kersey's chapters being fucking pointless, is like we went back and forth with that storyline so much that it was just like, okay, guys, at some point you just have to fucking make a decision of what she is and how does she get out of this?
And don't wait until the last 100 pages to do it.
No.
Like, you had to crush, like, if you were going to have her stay mad for a long time, at least make it legitimate and prolong it out, right?
Right.
Don't, I hate you, and then make it intense and try and crush it into the last 100 pages, because then she just looks flippant, right? She's just like,
yes,
I'm really, really mad at you, and then I'm over it really fast. Because I only have 100 pages to be mad.
That's right. There was also the fact that, like, Willow showed up again and again. They let her go, and I was like, what the fuck are you like, just kill her. I knew it meant that she was going to come back at the very end, because why else would they let her go in that one part? But like, what?
So the most frustrating thing, well, one of the most frustrating things with Willow is not only did you know after the second time they let her go that she was going to come back a third time, right? But she has no character development through any of these 2 books. No. She's a very minor player. Yes. And then all of a sudden she's the hero at the end. Right. And the missing, if you want to call it the missing piece to like break the spell. And I'm like, this is stupid.
Yes, that was fucking dumb. Like, so I have a couple of like theory conversations that will lead into discussions too. So one, you got one theory backwards. So you said Endora was going to kill Eden, and Eden ended up killing Endora. That scene was so fucking dumb.
Yes.
They were like in that bubble, and nobody could get in the bubble, and then Kersey got in the bubble, and they like that fight did not make any fucking.
Yes, they were in a mountain that was falling down.
But nobody got hurt. Like, yeah, nothing actually happened.
Well, it's just another like Raven doing the dumbest shit that she could do, and making the problem 100% worse, and then fucking leaving.
Yeah. It was
somebody else's problem.
Ridiculous. Like, that whole scene, at no point did I know what was actually happening in that scene.
No, I refused to read it again.
No, yeah,
Like,
I was not going back.
As I was reading it, I was like, I was like, I should read this again because I have no clue what's happening.
No.
And I was like, nope, I'm too close to the end. I don't even care.
I can't do it. No. Another theory that fell through at no fault of your own is that the Seeker never showed up again.
I know. What the fuck?
Neither did the old people. The old couple never reappeared, and the Seeker, there was nothing to do with him from the human world. So
Stupid.
She made such a big deal about that man hunting witches in the human world to not ever bring him up again. Like, that was
I felt like she wrote all these scenes individually.
Oh, yeah.
And then put them all together. And then Trish tried to make the story splice somehow, right? Like, maybe the Seeker story was like another book she was like maybe starting to write, you know what I mean? And then, you know, like the mountain thing was a side quest or whatever, and she was just like, all right, how do I
put
get
them all
them
together
from the Seeker to the mountain? What do I do with the Seeker? I don't know. I'll just not talk about him anymore. It's like if you told 5 different companies to build a car, but you don't let them know what the other ones are doing. You're only saying, you get the front end, you get the back end, you get the body, and like you get the suspension system or something like that, right? I know that's only 4, but
no.
And then at the end you bring in the 5th company. There it is. There's the 5th company. Okay. And you say, all right, 5th company, you put these 4 parts of the car together and make it a car. That's what this book is.
That's what this book is. That's what this book is. Oh my god, that was ridiculous. Another thing. Sorry. It really started to piss me off when they were in like a massive battle or whatever, and you literally have a witch who has the death spell, and she was like, I'm not gonna use it.
I have the same sticky note.
You do?
Yes.
I said, what's the reason? Like, this could be over so fast. She does give a reason a little bit later, but I do not accept this reason.
Well, she says, I don't want it to, like, eat my soul or something like that. You know, she's like, I don't want it to become me, something that defines me. But then, like, Tor comes over and he's like, there. Right. That's not who you are. And she's like, you know what, Tor, you're right.
You're right. And then she unleashes hell.
Right.
Like, I think that's the only scene where I was like, all right, I can get behind this. And this whole section was when she like unleashes the storm of hell upon all of the people she's fighting. And I was like, finally, we get some fucking magic and some like actual like cool fighting going on.
Right. And she's really just explaining, she's like, and then you die, and then you die, and then you die, and then you die. Yes. But before that, she's like explaining how like fucking Bash, who has no powers anymore.
Oh yeah, at this part, right.
Bare fucking knuckle fighting these people with a knife. Right. Fighting witches. And she's like watching him do it. Right. You stupid bitch. Right.
You have the death spell.
Like, don't you care about Bash at all? Right.
Like, that was oh, I just glanced at my notes and it's the part where Eden and Endora are fighting, and I wrote Eden kills Endora in the most confusing fight of life. That was my note. So I don't, that whole scene was, I was so frustrated. And when I finally got the answer of why Raven wasn't using her power or whatever, like she didn't want to have the deaths on her or whatever, like,
she got over it pretty fucking quick.
She did. And also, though, when the goddess came in and talked to you, she warned you and said you were going to have to make decisions. that like other people don't want to make, and that's how you're going to get through this. Obviously that means you're going to have to kill some fucking people. Just do it. Don't just stand there and be like, can't do anything. Again.
And nobody, Another thing about that really confusing death scene or fight scene.
Oh, the Endora
mountain scene or whatever. Something else that really irritated me was why the fuck is that the moment that Nim decides she's gonna tell Kersey that she murdered her? She's like, you have to get out. And she's like, nope, I'm gonna tell you right now. Like,
right.
There's a mountain falling down around you.
Yeah.
Couldn't this wait until the mountain thing was over?
Right.
Like, Kersey's not gonna die. She's a witch. Or she's a fucking... wish. A wish.
A wish. Yeah, I don't really remember it very well, but was it just because, like, she knew that Kersey knew, so then, like, she was needing to get it off her chest before something happens? Like, I
guess. She's like, I'm not leaving. Like, Kersey's like, you need to leave. And she's like, I'm not leaving until I tell you this. And she's like, you will die if you don't leave. And she's like, you won't leave unless I leave. Kersey's a wish. She doesn't give a... I mean, she's not gonna fucking die.
No, she's not.
The mountain could literally fall on her and she will not die. Also, I have another question. Maybe you can clear this up. During the mountain scene, when they're all fighting, where the fuck are the grimoires? Didn't they say Andorra has 2 of the grimoires in the mountain with her?
I think she had 2. Didn't somebody take one?
Even if she only had 1, didn't they say don't cast around the grimoires?
You can cast around 1, but not more than 1.
Okay, maybe I thought she had a couple grimoires, so like while all this fighting is happening, I'm like, so we're ignoring the grimoires?
No.
But maybe Kersey took one.
Yeah,
Actually, now that you say that, I think she did.
She did, because they said they were scared when the first person cast because they weren't sure if Kersey got far enough away.
Oh, yes.
And they assumed, yes. Yeah. And then she did end up getting far enough away. So, everything with the fucking grimoires was confusing. Yeah. So, yes. Honestly, I think that's all of the notes that I have for this section. Like,
well, I have one more note, and it was more of like I'm so fucking tired of this shit. Let me see. It's at the beginning of chapter 50. And she's just destroyed the grimoire. They've just destroyed the grimoire, annihilated the Fire Coven's magic. And then she's like, I need to go check on my parents. And remember,
she's fucking dead.
Well, her parents are dead, but Bash is like, hey, we should stay together because, it's really dangerous. And she turns around and she's like, I don't have to fucking listen to anything you have to say. You're not my king. Like, back to that shit. And I was like, please do not tell me. Yeah. Please do not tell me that we're back to this shit where she's just like, you don't control me. And I was like, oh my god, no. I can't do this.
She did have a little moment of just like rebellion where she's like, I'm gonna do what I want.
Right. And it's like,
but Andorra literally just flattened the entire Moon Coven. And you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna go, I just gotta go check on my parents. Like,
yeah,
bro, everything is gone. Like, I'm not saying you don't go do that, but like, do it with your group. Again, we're in a part where we're trying to split apart where somebody dies when you split apart.
Right.
I was actually confused by that a little bit because I thought when she said all that to him, right, she was like, whatever, I'm going to go do this. And Kersey's like, I'll go with you. I thought that just the 2 of them went. And then she sees her mom or dad, whoever she sees second. And then all of a sudden, Bash is there and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he like comforts her. And I was like, where did you come from? I thought you didn't go.
Yeah. And for somebody who, like, who she recognizes just lost all his magic and, blah, blah, blah. She's just like, don't
She
care.
has no sympathy, no, like...
Mm-mm.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't know. That's... For a series or a duology that had so much potential, this book fell so flat.
Yeah.
Like, there were so many things, like all the theories that we had at the end of book 1, I think could have made book 2, like, really cool. Like, if you would just answered all of the things that we were asking.
Yeah. It felt like she was just, I don't know, trying to tell a story and wasn't really concerned about the story.
Yeah, agreed. Well, I don't know if we're there already, but I was going to just tell you what my final rating was.
Do it.
I think I'm going with 2.5, but I'm rounding down to 2.
I am at 1 point something, but I rounded to 2.
Okay, so we ended in the same place. We just started at a different location. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do feel like I could probably just go solid 2 and not even... I don't know. I don't know why I'm feeling like I should give it a 2.5. But at this point, I think it's a solid 2 is probably right.
Right. So I have no qualms giving it a 2. And one of the reasons that this is, I would even be okay giving it a 1. Because I don't normally rate DNFs. I don't give them star ratings.
Right.
But if this was a book that I had picked up
on your own,
I would not have finished it.
Well,
to be fair, I wouldn't have even started it.
You wouldn't have started because of book 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had really high hopes for it because it sounded good. It was like, I don't know. And even after book 1, like book 1 had its problems, but I feel like maybe I rated it a little bit higher knowing that we had a book 2 that could maybe help it a little bit. And it just didn't. So I think I'm going to keep my rate. I think I rated book 1 3.5 or 4. I think I'm going to keep it because it still had potential. I still enjoyed it. But book 2 just, it did not answer anything that I needed or wanted. And I'm very disappointed about it. And
yeah, it did not do anything for me.
I might cry about it.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
It is a book that should cause you to cry.
Yes. One day I shall pick a good Bonus Bites book.
The next
one day. Maybe.
Well,
I don't promise.
The next round of Bonus Bites books, I know are technically my pick, but I stole them from you.
You did steal them from me.
So if they turn out great, you can claim them as your win.
Okay.
If they turn out terrible, you can blame it on me.
Okay. I love this plan. So I will post something on the social medias, but our next book is this book. It's so cute. It is called The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon. It is a trilogy. I haven't seen if there's going to be more or not, but book 3 comes out in July, so we will be well into this already. So our August 1st episode is going to be The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. And would you like to tell everyone why you stole this book from me?
Because it has the best trope ever.
Yes. I found this book and I saw that it had letters in it and I immediately wanted to read it and I knew that I couldn't read it without you. So,
yes.
Yeah, I will tell that story again in the next episode for everyone. But
in case you didn't listen to this episode because you read
it
the
was
book
terrible.
and you were like, oh no,
we're not talking about this. Yes. So, yes. Thanks for listening. Please let us know if you were as disappointed with the Unbound Witch as we were. And if you had high hopes for it. And, or if you DNF'd it like Nicole wanted to. Please let us know. We need to know if you had the same feelings, or if you think that we're just stupid and we missed all of the things that
all of the points. It was all explained. We just skimmed it.
Yeah, we just did not catch it. Let us know. That's it. I'm actually really glad that this one is over.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to us. Please go out and give us thumbs up and likes and follows and subscribes and all the things. Support us, please. We want your love. And Savor the Story Pod everywhere. Go see us. That's all.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Get out of here.